Okay, so show the equation that sine tangent equal 3 can be written in the form cosine squared plus 3 cosine minus 1. All right, so tangent's equal to sine over cosine, so we can replace that, and I'm going to make the sine a fraction so they kind of line up, equal 3. And now it seems the next thing to do would be to go ahead and multiply those together. And you multiply fractions, it just goes straight across, so that's going to give you sine squared over cosine equal 3. Now, you'll notice that the other side that I'm trying to get this to look like, it's got all cosines. So I can use the Pythagorean identity, which says that sine squared is equal to 1 minus cosine squared, and replace that. And so now I've got this. And so if I make the 3 a fraction, I've got two fractions that are equal to each other. And whenever I see that, I can cross multiply. And when I do that, I'm going to do 1 times this, which is 1 minus cosine squared, equals 3 cosine. And I take a look at what I'm supposed to end up with, and I'm getting pretty close. And I notice that the square is supposed to be positive, so I go ahead and get everything on the other side by just doing opposite operations. And now I've got cosine squared theta plus 3 cosine theta minus 1 is equal to 0, which is what I'm supposed to have. Now they want me to solve that, which I'm just going to use what I ended with, which is a quadratic. You'll notice that they want me to be in degrees. I've got cosine squared theta plus 3 cosine theta minus 1 equals 0. It's a quadratic, and if it feels easier for you, go ahead and write it like a quadratic. Now, how would you solve that? Well, you'd try to factor it. Unfortunately, there's no numbers that multiply to 1 and add to get to 3, so it's not going to factor. And just like a quadratic, if it doesn't factor, you're going to use the quadratic formula. And all I do is plug the stuff in, find out what x is equal to, and you're going to find out that x is equal to plus or minus negative 3 plus or minus 13, or square root of 13 over 2. Now this is going to give us two decimals. One's going to be 0.30277 and negative 3.30227. And now I got my x's. And so what I'm going to do now is put a cosine with them. So it's cosine theta is equal to 0.30277. I do the inverse, so I switch sides now. And I find out that my angle is going to be 72.4 degrees. Now the other one is negative, and so I can put that in. And what you're going to find is that you're going to get an error. And the reason for that is if you think about the unit circle or even a cosine graph, the highest value is 1 and the smallest value is 1. So negative 3 is not going to fly. So I'm only working with this 1. So I got 72 degrees, and then I flip it over the x-axis to find the other angle. That's 360 minus the 72.4, giving me 287.6, and now I've got my two answers. I look and I see that I'm between 0 and 360. If I add 360 to either of these or subtract them, I'm not going to be within the range. So this is the only two answers I'm going to have. And I'm done. All right, thanks for watching. Hope that helped.